Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Rewind Toys. I am Jason Emmett, and this is the show where we're going to go back and talk about all the toys and the fun shit we remembered from being a kid in the 80s and the 90s. And we're going to kick this one off with a toy I was obsessed with in the 80s. And they were millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere, or as you might remember them, muscles. If you haven't seen these before and you're seeing them now, you might be saying to yourself, "Why?" But these little guys were pretty awesome. They were affordable. There were a lot of different ones, and they were just fun to collect. Originally, you could buy them one of two ways. You could get them in a blister pack with 4 men, or my favorite way, the plastic garbage can, which originally held 10. Why a garbage can? Who knows? I mean, it looked cool. They were small, around 2 inches. They were molded, and you could not articulate them in any way, shape, or form. They were really weird looking. And I used to think a portion of these guys might have been inspired by luchador wrestlers with the masks they wear, but that isn't exactly where these creations found their roots. Kinnikuman was a manga. It was introduced in 1979 by writer Takashi Shimada and artist Yoshinori Nakai. Now, I mentioned I thought these guys might have been inspired by luchadors, but they were actually meant to parody superheroes of the time like Ultraman. Now, eventually, the storyline of these guys shifted and they became intergalactic professional wrestlers, which is why I always thought luchadors. This story edition helped define the look of Kinnikuman, which translates to Muscle Man, and it created a run better suited for an American audience, especially since wrestling in the 80s was kind of a huge deal. They were released in America, and only two were ever given proper names. There was Muscle Man and Buffalo Man, later renamed Terry Bull. But the manga characters all had names that fit what they looked like. The manga was popular, and it spawned a cartoon series in Japan in 1983 that ran for 3 seasons and even had a few movies, and with that came toys. Bandai produced these. They had had some success with another toy, which we will discuss in a future post, Monchichi. Bandai produced these little guys in a style known as Keshi, which basically means eraser. They were all originally flesh color and small enough to be bought out of vending machines, and they were a huge hit in Japan. Around the end of 1985, or some say 1986, Mattel acquired the rights to distribute these in the United States and Canada. They took a look at the anime series, but at the time they deemed it a little too violent, and instead, they went ahead and released the toys and sets with no backstory whatsoever. It was a gamble, but they were cheap to produce and they had a high collectability factor. Now, originally a 4 pack of these might have run you around $1 and a can of 10 under $5. It was easy for parents to say yes to appease their complaining kids. There were also the 28 packs, which could go for under $10. The 28 packs did help to establish a storyline, dividing the two warring factions, the Thugbusters, or the good guys, led by Muscle Man, and the Cosmic Crunchers, or the bad guys, led by Terry Bull. In the United States, there were 236 official figures. There was a horrible Nintendo game, the awesome championship Battle Belt that you could actually wear and held a character inside of it, the board game with 5 exclusive figures, and the awesome, hard knockin', rockin' wrestling ring that came with 2 exclusive figures. Now, the first shipment of figures were all that pinkish color. The second round was either the flesh pinkish color, dark blue, red, or purple. And then the third shipment came in dark blue, red, purple, magenta, salmon, which was similar to the flesh, lime green, neon orange, and light blue. They also had this really cool mail in poster. Now, if you're even considering starting a collection, I would recommend trying to get your hands on one of these posters. It's an awesome index for the figures and would help you figure out what you need. Also, it just looks really cool. There are 233 characters featured on the poster. Now, with anything somebody collects, there are some figures that are more rare than others. There's Satan Cross and the Purple Claw, for example. Now, collectors beware. There were a lot of knockoffs as this was such an inexpensive and popular toy line. One way to make sure you're getting the real deal is the feel. The bootlegs usually feel a bit flimsier as they are often made of cheaper material. I mean, the originals are pretty thick and pretty solid. The best way is to look on the back, though. Authentic figures will have the Y/S*N*T stamped on the back. A fantastic place for you to go if you're wanting to start collecting is musclefigures.com. They have a product guide and lists that are invaluable. Here's the website address. So there you have it, a general rundown of the Muscle Men and why you should collect them and why we all loved them. Hey guys, if you don't know, we also have a podcast and maybe you want to go check that out. We talk about 80s and 90s and it's a lot of fun over there. You can find it, the Mixtape Podcast, anywhere you find your podcasts. Also, if you don't mind, go down to the bottom and hit subscribe here on YouTube to get all the fun videos we release. As always, thank you once again for checking out the show. I'm your host, Jason Emmett. This has been Rewind Toys. And until next we speak, remember to always stay awesome.